The rise of future ghost towns in Canada. Imagine walking through your hometown only to find it eerily silent, stores shut down, homes abandoned, and entire neighborhoods fading into history. This isn't science fiction, it's the reality facing several Canadian cities as we move toward 2030. Economic collapse, depopulation, and climate disasters are threatening to erase some communities entirely. Many of these places were once thriving, built on industries like mining, oil, and fishing, but as these sectors decline, so do the cities that depended on them. Others are facing extreme climate risks, including rising sea levels, wildfires, and flooding, making them nearly unlivable. If things don't change fast, these 15 Canadian cities may soon be nothing more than ghost towns. Stay with us as we count them down, revealing the shocking reasons why they're at risk, and what, if anything, can be done to save them. 15. Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. Prince Albert has long been a crucial hub in Saskatchewan, serving as a gateway to the province's vast northern forests. However, the city faces a declining economy, with industries like forestry and agriculture no longer providing the same level of jobs they once did. Young people are moving to Saskatoon, Regina, and even out of the province in search of better opportunities, leaving behind an aging population and struggling businesses. On top of this, wildfires have become a serious threat. The increasing intensity of fires due to climate change has already forced evacuations, filling the air with smoke and making conditions dangerous. If these trends continue, many residents may choose not to return. With a shrinking workforce, rising environmental risks, and no major industry stepping in to fill the gap, Prince Albert could face a mass exodus by 2030, turning it into one of Canada's fastest declining cities. 14. Bathurst, New Brunswick. Bathurst, once a thriving mining and industrial city, has been struggling for years. Major employers have shut down, leaving residents with fewer job opportunities. Young people are relocating to cities like Moncton or Halifax, leaving behind an aging population that's making it difficult for the town to sustain itself. Another major threat is climate change. Located along the coast, Bathurst is highly vulnerable to rising sea levels and extreme storms. Some experts predict that if no action is taken, large parts of the town could be underwater by 2050. Even before that happens, worsening floods could make living in Bathurst increasingly difficult, causing more residents to leave. With its economy struggling and environmental risks growing, Bathurst faces a very uncertain future. If these issues aren't addressed, it may become one of Canada's first climate change ghost towns, abandoned as residents are forced to relocate. 13. Fort McMurray, Alberta. Fort McMurray is a city that rose and fell with the oil industry. At its peak, it attracted thousands of workers seeking high-paying jobs in Alberta's oil sands. However, as Canada transitions to renewable energy and reduces its reliance on fossil fuels, Fort McMurray's economic future is in jeopardy. The city has already suffered multiple economic collapses due to fluctuating oil prices, causing thousands of residents to leave. But one of the biggest threats to Fort McMurray is wildfires. In 2016, a catastrophic wildfire destroyed much of the city, forcing over 80,000 people to evacuate. Many never returned. With climate change increasing the frequency and intensity of wildfires, combined with the decline of the oil industry, Fort McMurray is on a dangerous path. If new industries don't emerge to replace oil jobs and wildfire risks remain unchecked, the city may not survive the next decade. 12. Churchill, Manitoba. Churchill is famous for its polar bears and northern lights, attracting thousands of tourists each year. However, this remote town is facing serious challenges that could make it uninhabitable by 2030. The biggest threat? Climate change. As Arctic temperatures rise, the sea ice is melting, which means polar bears are moving away. Since tourism is the backbone of Churchill's economy, fewer bears could mean fewer visitors and lost revenue. Churchill also struggles with transportation issues. There's no road access, meaning the town relies on expensive flights and an unreliable railway for supplies. When the rail line was damaged in 2017, food and fuel prices skyrocketed, forcing many to leave. If these issues persist, fewer jobs, rising costs, and worsening climate conditions, Churchill could become a ghost town before 2030, existing only as a seasonal stop for tourists. 11. Timmins, Ontario. Timmins was built on gold mining, but as the industry declines, so does the city's economic stability. With mining jobs disappearing and few industries stepping in to replace them, young people are leaving in droves, heading to larger cities for better opportunities. Adding to its struggles, Timmins faces harsh winters, making it less appealing for new businesses or workers looking for a fresh start. With an aging population and limited job growth, the city's future looks uncertain. If new industries aren't developed and population decline continues, Timmins could shrink significantly by 2030, potentially becoming a ghost town reliant on a dwindling number of residents. Sydney, Nova Scotia. Sydney was once the steel capital of Nova Scotia, but those days are long gone. The closure of its steel mills and decline of coal mining have left Sydney struggling to redefine itself. While some attempts have been made to revive tourism and small businesses, it hasn't been enough to stop people from leaving. Without a major industry to support the local economy, Sydney faces high unemployment and population decline. If economic renewal doesn't happen soon, Sydney could become one of Canada's most notable declining cities, possibly fading into history by 2030. 9. Flin Flon, Manitoba/Saskatchewan. Flin Flon is a mining town on the verge of collapse. Its economy has depended on nickel, copper, and zinc mining, but major mining operations are closing, leaving behind limited job opportunities. Its remote location makes it difficult to attract new businesses, and with harsh winters and population decline, many fear that Flin Flon will be abandoned within the next decade. If alternative industries aren't developed, Flin Flon could become a ghost town by 2030, with only a handful of residents remaining. 8. Saguenay, Quebec. Saguenay, located in northern Quebec, was once a thriving industrial city, powered by aluminum production, forestry, and hydroelectric energy. However, economic shifts have weakened its industrial base, leading to job losses and an aging population. One of the biggest challenges facing Saguenay is outmigration. young people seeking better job opportunities often move to Montreal, Quebec City, or even out of the province. As a result, the city's population is shrinking, and businesses are struggling to survive. Another major concern is climate change. Saguenay has experienced an increase in flooding and extreme weather events, which could make the city less livable over time. The 1996 Saguenay flood was one of the worst natural disasters in Canadian history, and with climate change intensifying, similar disasters could occur again. If economic diversification doesn't happen soon, Saguenay could face further decline, potentially becoming one of Canada's next forgotten cities. 7. Prince Rupert, British Columbia. Prince Rupert, located on Canada's west coast, was once a bustling fishing and shipping hub. However, in recent decades, its economy has taken a serious hit due to the decline of the fishing industry and increasing competition from larger ports like Vancouver and Seattle. With fewer jobs and limited opportunities, many residents have moved elsewhere, leaving behind a city struggling to sustain itself. The cost of living remains high, but job opportunities are scarce. While the port still plays a role in the economy, automation and global competition could further reduce jobs. Another major threat is rising sea levels. As a coastal city, Prince Rupert is vulnerable to flooding and coastal erosion, which could make certain areas uninhabitable by 2030. If economic decline and climate risks continue to worsen, Prince Rupert could become a shadow of its former self, with abandoned homes and struggling businesses defining its future. Six. Corner Brook, Newfoundland, and Labrador. Corner Brook was historically a key center for Newfoundland's forestry and paper industry, but those days are fading fast. With reduced demand for paper products, the industry is no longer providing the jobs it once did. As a result, residents are leaving in large numbers, seeking better opportunities in St. John's or even outside of Newfoundland. The town also faces significant economic struggles due to its reliance on seasonal industries, like tourism and fishing. When the tourism season slows down, businesses struggle to stay afloat. With limited job diversification, many young people see no reason to stay. In addition to economic struggles, harsh winters and increasing storm activity due to climate change could make living conditions more difficult. If new industries aren't developed, Corner Brook could continue to shrink, becoming a near-abandoned town with only a fraction of its population remaining by 2030. Five. Windsor, Ontario. Windsor, located on the border of Ontario and Michigan, was once a booming automobile manufacturing city. However, the decline of Canada's auto industry has led to major job losses, forcing many residents to leave in search of work. The city has tried to revitalize itself, but the reality is that automation and global competition have permanently reduced the need for factory jobs. Without strong job growth in other sectors, Windsor risks seeing continued population decline. Another issue is its proximity to Detroit, which has also faced economic struggles. As Detroit continues to recover, some experts predict that Windsor's economic ties to the struggling U.S. auto industry could hold it back. If Windsor doesn't diversify its economy and attract new industries, the city could face further population loss and economic hardship. By 2030, Windsor could be a city of empty factories, struggling businesses, and a shrinking workforce. 4. Thompson, Manitoba. Thompson, located in northern Manitoba, has long been a mining-dependent town. Nickel mining was the backbone of its economy, but as the industry declines, Thompson's future is in serious jeopardy. Major mining companies have already cut back operations, leading to job losses and a declining population. With harsh winters and its remote location, attracting new industries and businesses has proven difficult. Many young people move to Winnipeg or other cities for better opportunities, leaving Thompson with an aging population. Another major concern is climate change. Thompson has seen an increase in wildfires, flooding, and extreme cold events, making it an even less desirable place to live. If economic struggles continue and environmental risks worsen, Thompson could become nearly uninhabitable by 2030, with only a fraction of its current residents remaining. Three. Kapuskasing, Ontario. Kapuskasing was once a thriving forestry town, but as demand for paper and lumber declines, its economy has suffered. The closure of major mills has led to job losses and population decline, with many former residents relocating to southern Ontario. One of the biggest issues facing Kapuskasing is its isolation. It's far from major cities, making it difficult to attract new businesses. Without significant economic investment, there are few reasons for young people to stay. Climate change is also a growing concern. Northern Ontario has seen an increase in wildfires, floods, and unpredictable weather, making it even harder for the town to maintain a stable population. If trends continue, Kapuskasing could face near total abandonment by 2030. 2. Sept-Îles, Quebec. Sept-Îles is a remote city in eastern Quebec, built on iron ore mining and shipping. However, global demand for iron ore is declining, and mining operations have slowed, leading to job losses and economic uncertainty. The town also faces geographic isolation, making it difficult to attract new businesses or industries. Young professionals are moving to Montreal or Quebec City, leaving behind an aging population. Climate risks, including rising sea levels and stronger storms, could further threaten Sept-Îles' future. If economic struggles continue and climate risks worsen, Sept-Îles could become a ghost town by 2030. 1. Iqaluit, Nunavut. Iqaluit, the capital of Nunavut, faces extreme challenges that could make it uninhabitable within the next decade. Due to its isolation and harsh climate, Iqaluit relies heavily on imported goods, leading to sky-high costs of living. The city is also experiencing infrastructure failures. The lack of clean drinking water has already caused multiple crises, and climate change is melting permafrost, threatening roads, buildings, and essential services. As conditions worsen, more residents may be forced to leave, leading to a potential population collapse. If solutions aren't found, Iqaluit could be one of Canada's first modern cities to become unlivable. The future of Canada's disappearing cities. From economic collapse to climate change, these 15 cities are at serious risk of becoming ghost towns by 2030. While some may recover through economic diversification and government intervention, others could face permanent decline. Which of these cities do you think has a chance to survive? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on Canada's changing landscape.